Hi, I'm Ashley, and this is the corner of the internet where I share about my knitting. I live in a cozy studio apartment with my boyfriend Angel and our two dogs, Yaku and Chango. My videos are usually set up with sharing what I've finished, what I'm working on, and any future plans, as well as a vlog section where I take you along with me throughout the week while I knit with some music in the background. So if you enjoy it, please subscribe or like this video, and let's get into the video. First of all, I'd like to introduce what I'm wearing, which is the Oslo Sweater by Marika Knit. The Oslo Sweater is a top-down construction. First, the left and right shoulders are worked separately before being joined into a single piece. This has easily become one of my favorite sweaters. It has a boxy, almost masculine look and is so comfortable, yet elegant with the V-neck collar. I'm already planning on making another one. I knitted this with the San Juan Woolworks Spy Hop, which is a non-superwash, undyed DK weight yarn. This yarn has been spun with two different sheep breeds, in which one is darker and the other is lighter, and when plied together makes this beautiful heathered fabric. Although this yarn is rustic in character, I still find it incredibly soft. Next on the list is the Diane sweater. The Diane sweater is by Johanna Garish and is a top-down raglan garment. The ribbed pattern is the highlight of the simple design, and it's suitable for all days and occasions. I am using the Jagger Spun Heathers in the color Amber. This is also a non-superwash yarn and is a fingering weight. I am holding it double to achieve a DK weight, which is requested from the pattern. I am so enjoying working with this wonderful yarn. So this is pretty much my easy knit once I'm done with the Oslo sweater, because as us knitters know, it's kind of nice to have several projects going. At least for me, I'm not the most monogamous knitter, but I usually like having a knit that's more involved, whether that be cables or color work or even cardigan, as well as a straight stockinette, usually raglan sweater. So this is going to be my next, easy knit while I'm watching some podcasts or shows or movies or just listening to music, hanging out at a coffee shop. I'm still in the raglan section, and the raglan has this nice 2x2 ribbing on it, and it is going to be carried down throughout the rest of the sweater. So although it's a simple raglan, it has this really nice 2x2 detail, which I think just brings a little bit more interest to the sweater. And this yarn is just so fantastic. I believe it might be a Shetland or maybe a Romney, but it has that like halo to it that comes from, usually like natural wools. And it is just so lovely. I heard from one of the podcasters that I follow, her name is allwool, that this brand, which is Jagger Spun, they're actually going out of business after, I think they're a pretty old company. And they're going out of business, which is a shame because the yarn is fantastic, non-superwash, and it feels soft, at least to me. And the way that they dye color is very interesting. If you read on their website, the way that they achieve this color is by dyeing several colors together in order to get like depth, because like I've mentioned in the B-roll, this is like an ochre, yellowish green gold color, but there's like hints of red throughout it. It's really hard to describe unless you were to see it in person. And this is the fabric that it's making. So I'm really excited about this sweater. I've been pretty slow about knitting on it just because I'm kind of waiting to finish the Oslo Sweater for this to be like my main mindless knit. Next, I'd like to share about the Oslo Sweater.
The Oslo Sweater by Petite Knit is a drop shoulder design. It's oversized and comes with a fantastic thick collar, which is why I decided to knit it. I am using Amano's Ecopuna, which is a 100% baby alpaca yarn. I knew I had to hold this yarn with another strand of fiber since I can already tell that it has such little memory and will most likely stretch over time. I decided to hold it together with a strand of Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair to give it structure and help with preventing future stretch. This combination is creating the most luxurious fabric, and I can't wait to snuggle in it.
As you can see, I just have a sleeve left. I am so excited to have this sweater. It is so soft. The yarn combination is fantastic. And you know, I thought I was going to have enough Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair, but it seems like I am playing some yarn chicken. So I went ahead and ordered some more. For the Amano Tani, the Ecopuna, I do have 2 skeins left over. I'm kind of surprised that I have so much left over. And so I'm not too worried about ordering some more soft silk mohair in this color because the pairing is fantastic. And I figured I could probably make some kind of a pullover vest with that with that yarn combination as well. Yeah, and I'm excited for that one as well, but I should be finished with this sweater here in the next week or so. Next, I did want to mention the Paul cardigan that I'm working on. I'm not going to bring this up very often on the podcast because I am working on the second button band, and if you know, you know. And so not only is the button band taking me quite a while, but I did end up ripping back and restarting the second button band. I did finish the first button band, but I had to rip out the second one because I did that thing where I picked up the wrong amount of stitches, and so it started to rumple, or you know, it was gathering around the button band, and you know, I just had that gut feeling, you know, when you're kind of like working through something and you have that moment of like, should I just pursue and just work through it and hopefully it'll block out, or should I rip it back? And usually when I have that feeling, when I rip it back, even though it is disappointing, I never regret it. And so I'm already so much happier with how many times I picked up the stitches and how the second button band is laying. And so I'm just gonna, you know, work on this little by little. And I'll probably bring it onto the podcast once I get the button band done and I'm working on the sleeves. Just because, you know, button bands take time, and this is quite an involved knit. This is also Mareka knit, and it's her Paul cardigan, so it's based off of the sweater. So it has that same feature of that paneled back. And I mean, I am such a big fan of Mareka knit. Not only is her formatting of her patterns just really easy to read through, but as you go through the sections of the garment, off to the side, she has like links to YouTube on how to do the knitted like construction that's being requested of you. I just think it's so well done, and although it's not like, this knit is not difficult in all of the like details on how to create this garment. It's all laid out very well, and I think it's quite digestible. But it's very detailed in the sense that I almost feel like I am knitting a garment that is going to fit me like a sewn garment. That's like, the structure is just really interesting. For example, this neckline on the back, as you can tell, it's separate from the neck, from the double knitted band. And this has like a structure to it that I think is going to really fit well and not fall off the shoulders like some knitted cardigans do. So, I mean, just that detail in itself is just so thoughtful, and I think Mareka knit is just, I can't recommend her enough. But I am knitting this in Shepherd of a Daughter, which is such a beautiful yarn. I am so in love with this yarn. It is undyed, and it is natural wool. So it's very minimally processed, and it's in the color Ammonite. It's just so beautiful, and there's like such dimension to it. And I'm holding that together with the Izir Alpaca 1 in order to reach a sport gauge. And the Izir is also minimally untreated in the sense that it's 100% alpaca, and it's also undyed. This specific like colorway that I got is undyed. And what I am so excited about with this cardigan is that although I do have sweaters that are, 100% wool, minimally treated and undyed, such as this one, what makes me so excited about this cardigan is that I am going to include buttons to it, but I wanted 100% natural buttons as well, like the material to be natural. And on Etsy, I was able to find these bison horn buttons, and I just think they're so stunning. There's some interesting color and dimension to it, as you can see, and each one is unique. And I wanted to know why the colors, like there's dimension and color to these bison horn, and I ended up researching a little bit, and I found out that depending on the gender of the bison can indicate or can is a factor on how the horn color comes out. So for bulls, for the males, oftentimes their horns start out dark and then go lighter. But I did also read that cows or female bison, oftentimes their horns can be multicolored. And so I believe this might have come from a female cow bison because it's multicolored. And not only that, but the age of the bison can also indicate on how multicolored the horn is. And so I just am so excited to have this garment that's made from natural materials and taken from essentially certain individuals on this planet. And I just absolutely love that I can wear something that has been gifted by nature and by our fellow beings on this earth. And it's just, I find it very beautiful. When it comes to my future plans on what I want to knit, I was able to get my hands on some Nutiden unspun yarn. They are a Swedish company. It's a very small mill in Sweden, and they also minimally process yarn to the extent that they don't spin it, and that's why it is unspun. And they dye it with natural dyes, and I believe they do it in a pretty archaic way, which is very interesting. Like they do it in a vat outside. You can definitely follow them on their Instagram, and they kind of show some of the process of how they do this. And so this yarn is quite difficult to get a hold of. I know that back when I had the funds for it, I did subscribe to their Patreon so that I could get first dibs on any Nutiden that comes out, because she does release Nutiden every season, and each color is unique in the sense that it will not happen again. And so I was able to get my hands on this I believe it was 7 plates, so 700 grams of this Nutiden from someone on Ravelry who was willing to sell it for a better price. And it's a color that's since discontinued, like all of their colors. And so I was so thrilled to find it, and I am planning on holding it double because each strand is about a fingering weight, and so holding it double would bring it to a DK. And I am planning on holding it with easier alpaca one, which is turning out to be my preferred lace weight yarn, in order to bring it to a worsted weight so that I can create or start knitting the September sweater by Petite Knit. It is a all over brioche sweater, which I thought would just be so nice to have some, a pretty basic design to it. So it'll look like it has panels down the sweater. And if you look at the construction of the September sweater, it's very nice. I think the back shoulder section is really beautiful, and I think it would just be beautiful in this color. And so the easier alpaca one that I got was in the color gingerbread, which I believe will pair very well with this yarn. And lastly, some big news is that just today I submitted a test knit. So I don't know how much I can go into detail on what the pattern will be, what type of garment it will be, but it is going to be from the designer Teti Lutsak, who is a Ukrainian designer. I have created her Polina sweater, and I am a huge fan of her designs. I think they're all so beautifully unique, and I think she's extremely talented. And so she called out this test knit, and I went ahead and applied, which is going to be my first ever test knit. I haven't been, chosen yet or anything, but just the submission itself feels like a huge step for me and my knitting journey. I hope I'll get chosen, and if so, it would just be so wonderful to work with this designer because I respect her so much. I believe she is called Teti's Knitting Garden on Ravelry and Instagram, and her knitting designs are very inspired by nature, as I believe she went to school for botanical science. And so, yeah, that's like big news, and I wanted to share it, and hopefully I'll get chosen. And I've already been kind of looking out on what type of yarn that I would want to use. It does call for a worsted weight yarn, and so I have been really wanting to try the Kins & Co. Owl base, which is a 50-50 alpaca and wool base, which looks so beautiful. It looks fluffy. It'll probably have the softness of alpaca, but the lightness of wool and the structure and memory of wool. And on top of that, each skein does have like depth to its color. I do think, it's synthetically dyed. I don't think it's not dyed naturally, but the colors do have dimension to it and look almost slightly heathered, and I think it would just make such a beautiful garment. And so that's kind of what I'm keeping my eye out if I were to be chosen for this test knit, and so I'll keep you guys updated on that. All right, that ends the talking portion of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm gonna have you come along with me on this week, what cafes I went to and what I was knitting on, and I hope you enjoy, and there'll be some music for us to knit to together. So grab a cozy drink, and let's get crafting.